So you're an investigator, a line one. What does that actually mean? Human design is totally full of confusing terms, confusing concepts, some things that are so deep they're confusing. So even something that seems on the surface quite foundational, quite basic, like your profile and your lines, can end up being more difficult to understand than you would think. So join me today for an easier way to actually understand what line one is all about. And in the case, I'm going to introduce you to your archetype and go through basically 3 key aspects of your archetype, the investigator. And then if you stick around to the end, I've got a special offer for you. So this video is part of a series called A New View of Your Human Design Profile. So please like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the other videos. I'm Marianne from Human Design Alchemy. I'm an experienced human design reader, coach, and teacher. Let's dive into today's topic. So line one, the investigator. With this one, I call the archetype the detective. Seems a little bit obvious, but I think that energy really does fit with the line one investigator. So remember, that's the traditional human design terms. So for the detective, think, Sherlock Holmes, think Nancy Drew, think Miss Marple. What do we know about all of them? They have some key things in common, don't they? And if we think about line one as being that kind of detective, then we can see some of the energy of what this line is all about. They're inquisitive. They're actually deeply thoughtful. They're willing to dig into things as deeply as they can to satisfy their curiosity. So when you're thinking about your line one, I want you to think about your favorite book or TV detective, or Sherlock Holmes if you don't have a favorite one. What are they actually like when you think about them? Most likely, they'll tend to be a bit introspective. Some of them will be more or less outgoing and connected to others. Some of them may be viewed by the people around them as being quite self-focused or even selfish. Now, that can be all part of the line one. So if we go in a little bit deeper and look at their actual process, the detectives usually come to conclusions by themselves. Yes, it's typical for them to have a sidekick. Sometimes they don't, but most often they'll have some kind of a sidekick. But they are the one who truly, truly goes deeply into all of the details. They are the ones who know how to search through and sift through the information, aren't they? Now, sometimes the sidekick may actually go, oh, I think I know what's happened, and perhaps try and pull the detective into making an early conclusion. And if that happens, if the detective goes along with that, quite often they end up with a bit of an egg on their face, don't they? This is because a detective needs to make sure they've got all their facts lined up. So does a line one. So the line one investigator feels security when they know that all the information is gathered and lined up. And then they can do something with that information. So ultimately, what are they going to do? They're going to use that information to create some kind of change. Now, ultimately, the detective does that over and over again, don't they? And they become seen as a true expert. They know how to solve the mysteries. They know how to dig through and sift through and find out what is, the true facts, the true knowledge. People go and seek them out for their knowledge. Sometimes people will have a go at them because of their knowledge, but they are sought out by the people who need them. Now, this is another part of the line 1 energy. A line 1 searches for knowledge for their own deepest desire. There's a drive there, just like there is with a detective. There's a drive, there is a curiosity. There's almost a need for information. But ultimately, that information is used for something else. So a line 1 becomes an expert in, 1 to several areas that have deeply, deeply drawn them in. They'll get drawn into other things as well. But where they're truly focused, they become the experts that others seek out to make a contribution to the world in some way, to that person in some way. A line 1 is actually not here to keep their knowledge to themselves. And it can be an issue if they actually do end up doing that. All right, thank you for joining me on the Human Design Alchemy channel today. And now for the special offer that I promised you at the beginning. I would love for you to get a taste of human design, your individual human design. And I'm giving you a really easy, exciting, kind of a no-brainer way to actually get started. So for only $22, and that's Australian, you can receive a remote human design reading, a 20-minute result, a 20-minute remote human design reading that will be all about you as an individual. It will come straight to your inbox. So see the details and the link down below. And goodbye for now.